I was arrested for attempted murder of Sharon. I had no idea.
Ozzy Osbourne reveals he nearly killed wife Sharon in drunken rage. A dark memory resurfaces.
Can we just stop there? Attempted murder of your wife.
Mm.
Right. What happened?
The Prince of Darkness has made a startling confession, one that's left fans shaken and reminded the world of the real, raw cost of addiction and fame.
I don't remember any of it. I can remember going to a restaurant, and that's about it.
In a harrowing new interview, Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary frontman of Black Sabbath, has revealed he once tried to kill his wife, Sharon Osbourne, during a psychotic episode brought on by drug and alcohol abuse.
He just said, "We've made a decision," and I'm like, "We've?"
Now sober and reflective at 76, Ozzy shared the chilling details of one of the darkest nights of his life, and how Sharon not only survived, but later forgave him, helping save him from himself.
"Yes, and you've got to die," and I'm like, "Okay, all right."
A confession long buried. It's not the first time whispers of the incident surfaced, but Ozzy's words now, years later, come with a clarity and gravity that time and sobriety have brought. Speaking candidly in a filmed retrospective released August 5th, 2025, Ozzy didn't shy away from the truth. "I just remember waking up in Amersham jail and I asked, 'Why am I here?' They said, 'You tried to murder your wife.'"
Why didn't that stop you drinking?
I don't know. I don't know.
The voice that once shook concert stadiums trembled as he described what happened that night in 1989. Fueled by a cocktail of drugs, alcohol, and mental confusion, Ozzy said he had absolutely no idea what was going on.
I don't know. I don't know.
As he turned violent towards Sharon in their Buckinghamshire home. She recalls him approaching her calmly, yet with a blank expression in his eyes, and saying, "We've come to the decision that you've got to die."
And so what did he do then?
He lunged on me.
It was a moment that would haunt them both for decades.
Ozzy was quite normal to me. I didn't think he was extreme in any way, and I loved him.
The night that changed everything. Sharon Osbourne, the iron-willed matriarch and manager who had stood by Ozzy through scandal, relapse, and fame, had to make an impossible decision. After calling the police, he was arrested and placed on suicide watch. He spent 6 months in medical detention and was ordered into rehab. In a shocking twist of love, Sharon chose not to divorce him.
And I loved him.
And that was like someone putting a red-hot poker to the middle of my spine, you know. He's like...
Many asked why. Her answer? Because I knew that wasn't the real Ozzy. That was the drugs, the addiction, and I still believed he could come back.
Suddenly he comes downstairs a couple of hours later.
For Sharon, that night wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the fight for her husband's soul. Addiction, fame, and the breaking point.
You know, it was my worst, and that didn't stop me drinking.
Ozzy's decades-long battle with substance abuse is well documented. The public outbursts, the arrests, the erratic behavior on and off stage. But behind the headlines was a man unraveling under the weight of trauma, fame, and dependency.
He's got his underpants on. I thought he was ready for bed, and suddenly...
Long before reality TV made him a household name, Ozzy was already a rock icon struggling with inner demons. He admitted to using drugs as far back as his teens in Birmingham, England, and by the 1980s, his substance abuse had spiraled out of control. It all culminated in that near-fatal night with Sharon. It wasn't just a close call, it was a wake-up call. Sharon, the survivor who stayed for Sharon. The years that followed were a mix of rebuilding, healing, and fiercely guarding her family. While critics questioned her loyalty, she remained adamant. "I don't regret staying. I regret what happened, but not the decision to help him get better." Her choice to stay and help Ozzy reclaim his life led to decades of advocacy for mental health, addiction awareness, and family resilience. She eventually became one of the most visible voices in media, hosting The Talk and returning to the Osbournes in later reboot series, always anchored by her belief that redemption was possible. Final words on the incident. Ozzy's voice broke when recounting Sharon's reaction in the aftermath. She looked at me and said, "I don't know who you are anymore. But if you want to be someone worth loving, you have to fight for it." That statement, he says, pierced through the fog of addiction. She could have walked away. She had every right, but she stayed. and because she stayed, I'm alive. A journey to redemption. Over the years, Ozzy has entered multiple rehab programs, endured health scares, and leaned heavily on Sharon and his children to stay clean. Through relapses and relaunches, he's remained open about his mental health struggles and credits Sharon for saving his life over and over again. In a recent BBC documentary, Sharon echoed that sentiment. "He gave me hell. But I saw something in him the world didn't, and now I see the man I always knew he could be." Fans of the Osbournes will remember moments of raw vulnerability between the couple, arguments, tears, and laughter, all played out on screen. But few realized just how much they had survived off camera. The Osbournes today, still standing. Now, 43 years after their wedding, the Osbournes remain together, weathered, wiser, and still in love. Their marriage is one of rock's longest-running and most unlikely success stories. While Ozzy has faced recent health challenges, including Parkinson's disease and spinal surgeries, he remains defiant. Sharon stands beside him, just as she did during the darkest moment of their lives. They've since become champions of mental health awareness, funding clinics, speaking at addiction conferences, and donating millions toward early intervention efforts. Fans react to the revelation. As clips from the new interviews spread online, fans flooded social media with a mixture of shock and support. Many praised Ozzy's honesty, while others reflected on Sharon's unimaginable strength and capacity for forgiveness. One fan wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "He survived addiction. She survived him. And somehow, they both still believe in love. That's powerful." Another user said, "If Ozzy can admit this and still be working toward redemption, there's hope for a lot of people out there." Mental health professionals also weighed in, noting that the couple's story is a harrowing but hopeful case study in recovery, trauma, and transformation. A message to the world. When asked why he chose to speak about the incident now, Ozzy replied, "Because people need to know what addiction really is. It's not just partying, it's destroying everything you love. I almost lost Sharon, and I want people to understand that no high is worth that." His words come not from a place of shame, but from a place of warning and healing. Closing reflection. Ozzy Osbourne's revelation is a reminder that even legends carry shadows, and that beneath the music, the mayhem, and the myths are real people grappling with darkness, seeking light. His confession doesn't erase what happened, but it does illuminate a painful truth. Addiction can destroy, but it doesn't have to define. Through Sharon's unshakable faith and Ozzy's slow climb toward redemption, the Osbournes show us that love can endure, even in the aftermath of rage, pain, and nearly irreparable damage. Today, they stand not as a perfect couple, but as a living testimony to resilience.